Hello, so once you will have deployed this sample using the deploy to Azure button, you will have in your Azure subscription 3 different resources created. One for ACS, of course, one for Cosmos DB, and one for a static web app and Azure function. So this static web app, you will have a URL like this one that you can then share with your friend and colleague to be able to test Azure communication services. So in my case, I've got 2 different instances of a web browser, one on the left to simulate, myself, and one on the right to simulate like a colleague that would call me. So the sample is using the static web app authentication providers to be able to authentify myself and provide this identity to the Azure communication services through an Azure function to be able to map that to an ACS ID. So let's connect first with my Twitter account, for instance. You will see that I will have a new simple identity to share with my friends, which is Davros at Twitter. That's going to replace a more complex identity under the hood used by ACS, which is this one. So it means that now I can just simply share this ID to friends to be able to let them call me. I'm going to choose a camera, which is my classical camera on this PC and output, and I'm going also to authenticate now on the right, which is a kind of a simulation of a friend that I don't have right now to do this demo. So I'm going to use with my Google account this time. So I'm going to use a different camera to be able to simulate that completely, and a different speakers. So now what I need to do is to provide this simple ID, you see, to my friend, and tell him like, please call me on this ID, and you will see that it will enable this webcam, which is my second webcam, and on the left you see that the accept call button was enabled, meaning that I've got an incoming call, and we have the state being displayed like it's currently ringing on the other side. So I'm going to accept the call. And now you can see that I've got this main camera being used, which is my main camera on the left, and I'm being able to connect these 2 users through the ACS infrastructure, which is basically the same as Microsoft Teams. So you're using the same scalability and availability of the service. And now you see it's super simple to test the service and modify now the sample to do much more stuff on your side. We can also, obviously, so let's hang up. We can also use phones. So in my case, I'm going to use my iPhone. So I'm going to call the user on the left. You see that the accept call button was enabled. So I'm going to enable it. And now you can see that I'm using my iPhone to be able to call this user that is living on the left. So super simple to do that. And I can hang the call on the phone in the same way. Last but not least, you can use the very same sample to connect this web page to an existing Teams meeting like we have on the left. So currently in Teams, I can go there to have more information about the meeting in the property, meeting info. I can see the link to this meeting. So I'm going to right click and copy this link. And this time, instead of providing my specific ID being provided by the static web app, I'm going to copy paste the link to my Teams meeting, and I'm going to press the start call button. You're going to see that this time the states are slightly different. So I'm currently in lobby state. That was different from the other one in using pure ACS, because we are calling Teams. So in Teams we can see that we have a lobby being managed, so I can admit this external user. I decided, you can check that in the source code, to call them ACS something, so with my email address in my case. So let's admit this user. And you will see that I've been able to, this time, rather than connecting a user from ACS to ACS, is to use ACS to connect a user from my existing web app, for instance. You can easily now integrate this code into your web app and to call someone using Teams. This is really a cool feature because it means that your user in your company can then stay in Teams and be called by someone else using your web app exposed to those users. So thank you. Feel free to provide feedback on the repo in the issues, or to send emails, or contact me on Twitter. Thank you.